The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, yo, there's been a quote that I've read a lot and heard a lot over the last couple of days. And while I can't do it justice, I feel I have to speak on this. Hard work pays off. Dreams do come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. Rest in peace, Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon. And from one click to another, I want to thank you for your contributions to entertainment and the wrestling business. And when I say click, I'm also referencing everybody who's been on these microphones, everybody who's a Patreon supporter, because without you, we couldn't do what we do. And every casual listener, or those that have been there from the beginning, and every special guest star. I wish I had a table big enough for us all to fit. And when life kicks us in the balls, maybe we can take 2 to 3 hours, maybe just 2 hours because of technical difficulties, and maybe have a good time and laugh and joke about a few things. So you know what? Let's share this moment, and welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome all you little zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 503 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is the world's most dangerous podcast and is recorded in front of an undead studio audience here at Castle Wolfenstein, also in the Lair of La Swag within the Raven Chateau, also in, I almost messed up there, I almost did the old guys thing, in the Lair of the Gods, and also from Rhode Island.
The Record Dojo.
The Record Dojo, yeah. I was gonna say we need a fancy name. So there you go, Raven Shadow. So no mystery, but Josh is joining us once again, and Josh once again pinch hitting at a moment's notice. So Josh, thanks for stepping up and helping us out and getting a fourth host. Looking forward to talking about this movie with you. How are things going with you, man?
Not too bad. Just doing the same old thing, selling records. And, luckily I had time to watch this movie. So you mentioned you were down a person today. So I was like, oh, I can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. We had, there's a couple invites out. This is the problem with trying to do a different guest every week and try to branch out here and there. Sometimes you don't hear until late, and then it's too late. And but Josh has offered to kind of be a rotating host, and so you guys are going to hear from Josh pretty often. So we appreciate that, Josh. That means a lot to us, and we're obviously thankful for you, but in general we just fucking like hanging out with you. So it's even better because of that. So Josh was telling us he was running up records to Massachusetts today. That sounds amazing. So Josh was running up records to fucking Massachusetts today. Those gas prices are hitting you hard with the record runs, huh?
Oh, they are. I mean, a half a tank of gas in the minivan is pretty pricey.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Oh. But I the feeling is mutual with you guys, and I'm glad to be here. I figured I'd make that offer to be the fill-in person since as you know from the call-ins, I'm watching the movies most of the time anyway.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's why Josh messaged me today. He's like, oh, I sent a voicemail for last week. Did you not get it? So I checked my email, and last one I got from you was from like earlier in the month.
Yeah.
So, because you were like, oh, I'm going to leave a voice message. I'm like, well, why don't you just come on the show? So worked out, I guess.
Yep.
So very cool to have Josh with us. And tonight we're going to be talking about a movie called Offseason. It is the latest film from director Mickey Keating. And if you guys recall, we've had Mickey Keating on the show before. We talked to Mickey and Joe Begos, a Rhode Island boy, speaking of Rhode Island. And we had them both on the show. It was a great interview a few years back. And also, we've done a ton of Mickey Keating's films. I want to say that I think we've done all of them now. Wait, we didn't do his first two. Okay, so we didn't do his first two, but since 2015, every movie he's put out, we've done. We did Pod, we did Darling, we did Carnage Park, we did Psychopaths, and now we're doing Offseason. So, yeah, Raven Shadow.
Wait, we had Michael Keaton on the show?
You had to raise your hand for that.
Do we have him? We didn't talk about Beetlejuice, did we?
Are you serious?
I think you missed that episode.
Yeah, you must not have been on for that one. You must have been.
Yeah. He was in studio too. Where were you?
Yeah, must have been vacationing on the railroad tracks.
Not anymore, Johnny.
Yeah. He brought everybody bat props from the Tim Burton Batman.
Yeah, you missed that.
To go back and re-listen.
Mickey Keating, Raven Shadow.
Mickey Keating.
Mickey Keating. Yeah, Mickey Keating. And do you remember that we had him on the show? Does that even ring a bell?
No, it's fun. That boy good. That boy good. I like it.
All right, so looking forward to talking about this movie. We'll be doing that in a little bit. We have some voice messages. If you guys are listening live, feel free to send in a voice message. There's still time. Podcast at trickortreatradio.com. And for those listening live, you'll look at your clock and say, are these guys on some kind of weird daylight savings time where they went back 2 hours, or what's going on here? Well, I got my computer all ready to go. I had everything all loaded up. Like I don't know, maybe people don't know, but I have literally like 7 different things that I need to have open on my computer, to stream. So I had everything open, everything pretty much ready to go. And then I was finishing up my work, and then I looked over and my computer, like I went to use the mouse and the cursor wasn't moving. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, where's the cursor? I'm looking all over, and I had the camera app open, and I was sitting in the chair, and I couldn't see me sitting in the chair because it had frozen when I'd left the room, I guess, and I didn't notice. And so computer completely hard froze, couldn't do anything, so I had to reboot it. Rebooted it, and then Windows Update started, and then restarted, and then it just would not turn on. Flatline, basically. So I was like, oh, fuck. We're already, like, at this point, like, late, because I had to do some stuff for work that took me a little later, so we're already running late. And then I was like, basically I took my computer apart and was like, all right, I'm going to figure this out. It will fucking turn on. The light would go on, but it wouldn't boot. Like, I thought I might have had like an issue with the motherboard or something. Raven Chat, what's a motherboard? Is that like a mother box you use to boom tube?
Yeah. No, it brings you cigarettes and Uncrustables. Doesn't it? Is that what it does?
Yeah, exactly.
Talks you over a cliff, gives you bad advice sometimes about making.
Yeah, that's exactly what a motherboard is. Okay, so, but yeah, so what I did was I maybe people don't even give a fuck about this. I don't know, but I popped out the RAM and swapped the RAM sticks with each other, and then tried to turn it back on, and it fucking turned on. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to swap those RAM sticks, John.
I mean, it was a good thing that worked. Next step was you having to hurry up and rush over to Raven Shadow's house and do the show from there.
Yeah, see you in 7 hours.
I mean, you wrench out the RAM sticks. The plan C is wrench it around, wrench it off. You know what I mean?
Oh man. So yeah, I don't know why that worked, but it did. So I just was like basically a Hail Mary. Raven Chow, try that next time, okay?
What, a Hail Mary?
No, wrenching out the ram sticks.
Where the fucking ram sticks? I don't fucking know what they are.
Do you know?
Are they in your-
He's going to have a pipe wrench and mozzarella sticks and go, what am I supposed to do now?
I got mozzarella sticks. I got fucking fiddle sticks. I got fucking fudge sticks that the Keebler elves make. You know what I mean? I don't know what a fucking ram stick is.
That's
Is it one-
it's your favorite German band, Ramstick.
Ram stick.
There you go.
Who would have thought that the Russians were the new Germans? Yeah, that's fucking weird.
The Russians are the new Germans.
There's a war going on, Johnny. I don't want to get political, but like they're doing some bad things.
Oh, really?
You don't want to get political, but you're going to be political. Like,
I'm just saying
you
that-
brought it up.
I'm just saying that, like, you know what I mean?
Ramsticks.
Ram sticks. You know, big ups to Schnitzel, man. What are you gonna do?
Big ups to Schnitzel. Yeah, there you go. It's going to be that kind of show.
Nightcrawler is pretty cool.
So there you go. So we appreciate you guys tuning in and kind of bearing with us for those who wanted to tune in. And yeah, so we're an hour late if you're watching live. If you're listening to the podcast, you won't know anything different. So there you go. So anyways, that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to be talking about the Mickey Keating film Offseason and play some voice messages and just generally shoot the shit. But Raven Shadow, obviously, the big thing that you mentioned at the top was Scott Hall passing. And word came in, I want to say it was over the weekend, that during his hip surgery, because I guess he broke his hip and he had to have hip surgery, and during the recovery process or during the surgery or something like that, he had like 3 separate heart attacks, which is fucking ridiculous. So he had to be on life support. Yeah, life support basically, and it was only a matter of time. I guess I read that they took him off life support and he stuck around for like another 4 hours, which, I mean, you know, a lot of people were like thinking he was going to like, you know, kick out, as they say, finger quotes, kick out.
What did we talk about that on the Patreon recording? Whether it was, I don't think.
Might have, yeah.
Because we discussed it. I'm not sure it was part of the broadcast, but I think we talked about it. At least you and I did.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, our boy Bobby Walnuts, Robert Walnut, otherwise known as Gene Siskel's balding head or Gene Spalding, he left a picture in the Discord of him wearing his Razor Ramon T-shirt, and he said, "Hey guys, I was wondering if you could talk about Scott Hall best moments, matches on the show this week. Razor Ramon was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. Rest in peace to the bad guy." So, I know, Josh, you're, as far as I'm aware, not a huge wrestling fan, so I don't know if do you recall seeing any stuff with Scott Hall or Razor Ramon?
No, I can't really. I don't really follow wrestling. I'm not, I certainly don't dislike it in any way. But yeah, I would not be able to pinpoint anything specific, unfortunately.
And Aries, I know you're on and off with wrestling, but obviously you know who Razor Ramon Scott Hall is.
Oh yeah, I mean that's in my prime right there.
Yeah. So I figured we could, just a few minutes. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we're already running a little late because of the tech issues. But I guess for like favorite matches and moments, do you want to kick us off, Raven Chow, since you had you brought it up on the intro there?
I mean, it's hard. Like in the 80s, I was always a good guy fan. You know what I mean? Like I was always the Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yeah.
Tito Santana, that kind of thing. But Razor was probably the first heel that I really kind of gravitated towards. And for me, for those who know me in real life or listen to the show, his match with the Kid, the 1, 2, 3 Kid match, when the Kid beat him, was pretty fucking dope. But I love Razor.
Yeah, and obviously he was I guess you could say a trailblazer. I mean, he sort of had 3 kind of big decades. In the 80s, he teamed with Kurt Hennig in, I think it was the AWA, and so he was a tag team champ with Kurt Hennig, and there was he was a pretty well known wrestler back in the day. Then obviously he wasn't getting a lot of major TV at the time, but and then in the 90s is when WWE or WWF at the time brought in Scott Hall's Razor Ramon. And I would say that, I forget the landscape of things at the time. I'd have to go back and look, but I think the landscape at the time was there was a lot of these stereotype gimmicks, I don't know, I'm trying to think of Duke the Dumpster Drozy, the Brooklyn Brawler, the
Mountie, Strongbow.
They're all stereotypes of something. Some are racially stereotypical, and
Saba Simba, the great Saba Simba,
Savio Vega, exactly, so. And at the time, he obviously was kind of a stereotype, as well, but in a way he made being, as you said, a bad guy cool. He was one of the first heels that I can remember kind of rooting for, because back in the day it was very clear heel face. You knew who the bad guy was, you knew who the good guy was. But in this, he kind of blurred that line a little bit, where he was just so fucking cool that you had to like him, right? It was hard not to.
And he was a huge fucking dude that essentially Razor Ramon was Tony Montana from Scarface, but a big fucking dude who had a toothpick, right? He was,
yeah.
Once again, Al Pacino.
Yeah, he was 6'7", 287,
Yeah, not Al Pacino's not Spanish. Look at the cast of Scarface. Robert Loggia, F. Murray Abraham. No one's Spanish in real life. But Scott Hall had that. He had the yo, say goodbye to the bad guy. That gimmick with the slicked hair. And it's funny, I actually watched a clip on him on the old Jerry Springer episode where he came out to maybe 9-year-old kids who had like HIV, and gave him the belt and gave him tickets to WrestleMania at that time. And he came out in the full Razor gear, and it was so absurd and so wow, this is really a thing. But you had to watch it, and it was from that time. And even though Scott Hall had his demons, he's not
for
perfect.
sure.
But it just sucks when somebody cleans up their life, like what he did with Diamond Dallas
DDP. Yeah,
Yoga. This is somebody that shouldn't have lived as long as he had. But it just sucks when you get cleaned up and you're trying to do all the right things and something like this happens. And,
yeah. Just his injury alone. He was 63. He broke his hip. That's something that anyone could break their hip. But what I mean is he fell and broke his hip, and that's something you typically hear about older folks, right? In their late 70s or 80s and 90s. And typically when that's the case, when that happens, a lot of times it's kind of downhill from there, because you just lose mobility and the blood flow, and it's harder to kind of get around. So it seems like he put his body through a lot, and at 63 he probably had the insides of an 83-year-old person,
Right, whether it's self-inflicted or whatnot, but
yeah,
I think it's just the testament is that he tried to do better, and I think all of us are, you you could be fair to say that we're all outsiders in our own way. We're all a little bit of degenerates, and we all want to.
Yeah.
But his influence, he's part of that era, and I think that we've all been those of us who love that entertainment has been influenced by this guy. It's just sad. Just sad.
Yeah, and you're right. Like him trying to clean up his act, and and getting sober and doing all that, because he had like a rock bottom moment. Like, and I'm not talking about your favorite wrestling move.
Right.
He had a rock bottom moment where he was literally like he showed up at a show and he couldn't even like walk out to the ring and was like falling over and shit. And I think it's when DDP took him in and then, cleaned him up and did all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks, but I mean, I hate to say it, but sometimes it can be, too little too late, if you will, or when you put your body through so much that after a while, it's just like, yeah, like it's hard to play catch up on that.
Right. But I just want to say thank you, sir, your contributions.
So rest in peace to Scott Hall. We won't take up any more time talking about wrestling, but I know we had Bobby Walnuts wanted to hear a little bit, and figured it'd be worth a few minute discussion, especially since you brought it up off the top of the show there. So, all right. So, what else we got? We got some good feedback on our guest last week, Liz, who was pretty awesome, Raven Shadow.
Killer, right?
So once again, the what was your title again? Public Outreach Associate.
Yeah. POA.
The POA is DOA. So there you go. Yeah, go ahead, pat yourself on the back. Don't hurt yourself. Barry Horowitz. So. So we had Liz was a lot of fun last week, and we got some good feedback about Liz. As always, if you guys, as we kind of get some new guests and rotate some friends in here and there, you guys can always reach out and let us know what you think, and if there's someone you want to see back on the show or anything like that, it's that feedback is always appreciated. I do want to bring up the Patreon show, not only just to talk about the Patreon show, but also to tell Josh that Josh had a great idea for Patreon, and we put it into motion on the last episode, Josh. So we started the coin flip cinema, and what we did was we flipped the coin. Mm-hmm. So I'll just tell people this. I want people to go listen to the Patreon episode, but I'm going to just tell people this part. But so the idea of this is Raven Shadow for years has been saying it's no Casablanca, so that's like his, comparison point for a good movie. So Josh had the idea to come up with a comparison point for the other side of a really bad movie. And then what we'll do is we'll set the standard of what a good movie is on the show versus a bad movie. And so I took a look, Josh, at like the worst rated films on IMDb.
Yeah.
And there's the first couple I didn't really feel were good ones to pick. They were like spoof comedies, like Disaster Movie is supposedly the worst movie rated by IMDb. And I didn't want to do that. So I looked, and there was one that was ranked number 6 that sort of fit in with Trick or Treat Radio, because I brought it up on a couple occasions at least about it being the worst movie I've ever seen. So what we decided was the flip side of that, the tails side of the equation, would be Uwe Boll's House of the Dead. So we have on one side House of the Dead, and on the other we have Casablanca.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was the idea. You flip a coin, and you either get a bona fide classic or a piece of garbage.
Exactly.
No, you just hope that the piece of garbage is at least fun.
Right. I know that this piece of garbage isn't. So, so this is going to basically set the parameters of what was a good movie and what is a bad movie. So, with the first time that we're doing this is going to set the parameters, and then from there on out, we want to ask the Patreon supporters to give us a list of some of some of the best movies versus some of the worst. And then what we'll do is we'll work through every time we do it, we'll flip a coin, and we'll have a list that's heads and a list that's tails, and then we'll pick the next one up in line. So, and then we can compare it and say, if we choose heads, was it as good as Casablanca? Or if we choose tails, was it as bad as House of the Dead? So, that's what we're doing. I'm not going to tell people whether we chose heads or tails. You got to listen to the episode for that. But you'll find out what we're doing on the following Patreon show by listening to that. So yeah, I wanted to let folks know about that. And then Raven Chat, I want you to tell folks what you did for the top 13 list on this past Patreon.
Yeah, no. So I was thinking about top 13 musicians in film, and it was
or acting performances by musicians, basically in film. Yeah.
I feel that's what I said.
You said musicians' performances or something like that. You didn't say in film.
Okay, but I want to say what you said.
Okay, well, go ahead. Say it.
What you said.
Just go.
Yeah, so musicians who that's their fucking day job who have appeared in movies. Right?
Yeah, right.
Is that what I said?
It doesn't matter. It's fine.
All right.
Aries is gonna fucking flip his desk.
Well, good. Well, he should have fucking been there because he would have had some fuck because he played bass. You know what I mean?
So he should be acting in movies, is what you're saying?
Yeah, well, yeah, he could play the fucking fourth wallpaper from the left. You could play the second wall because he doesn't really talk a lot. No, he's a bit talented. But no, I love Aries. But no, I want to. There are certain musicians that I didn't know they were musicians. They were just like, wow, this person is really interesting. And then I found out they were musicians later on. So I didn't do any kind of internet search. I just did it all from the dome, from memory, and did the top 13 people whose primary jobs were being musicians in films. And there were some exclusions, Sinatra, Elvis, they weren't on there. Gene Autry, didn't he sing? I think he sang something. He wasn't there.
Jesus Christ. All right, let people listen to it.
Well, yeah, $2 a fucking month, whatever the fuck. But yeah, no.
So it was a good list. I think you put together a comprehensive list, and I like some of your choices. And we had Vesa said he was going through the whole thing saying, I can't believe he didn't include this guy. I can't believe he didn't include this guy. And then he got to number one, and then you included that guy. So he was happy. So, but yeah. And you did it all by memory, which you did not look up anything on IMDb or the internet, mostly because you don't know how. So
you're saying half of it's wrong?
But no, there was even in the Patreon chat, someone mentioned a certain. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't think of that. But it was all from memory. In some, anybody can look something up. You know what I mean?
It was Bobby Walnuts. He said Vanity from Last Dragon better be in there, Michael Raven Shadow.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I didn't think of Vanity.
So there you go. You got one that Raven Shadow didn't include for free. So,
but he somehow included Britney Spears in Crossroads.
I do enjoy the Crossroads. Thank you, Josh.
The Crossroads with Ralph Macchio and Steve Vai. That's a fucking movie.
I never saw that.
You never saw it?
No, because he wasn't the Karate Kid.
Well,
no, he was the Guitar Kid.
Yeah, he was the Guitar Kid, not the Karate Kid. There you go.
Yeah, but I just wanted to fucking fight Johnny and Santos.
You want to fight me?
Not you, Johnny.
Wait, the Karate Kid versus Santo?
Yeah, one Karate Kid versus Santo.
El Santo. I want to see El Santo versus the Karate Kid.
Santo versus Ralph Macchio. The fucking movie. Aries hasn't talked at all.
Aries, are you there?
I'm here.
He's just so surly about St. Patrick's Day. He just doesn't want to talk.
Now, Aries, I did want to interject. when I gave them the idea for the coin flip cinema, I did preface that when they make their initial list of classic films, for at least the first few rounds, take out anything that was overly long or subtitled.
He did say that.
Yeah.
Josh has your best interest in mind, Aries.
I appreciate that.
I figured if I was going to pitch an idea that meant you were watching like an extra movie every other month or so, I would try to make it easy.
Oh, man. All right. Well, speaking of Patreon, maybe we'll just go right into the whole spiel because I want to get to the movie to discuss. But if you guys want to help support, if you want to check out Raven Shadow's top 13 list of his favorite acting performances in film by a musician, you can go ahead and check out the Patreon, and you can join for as little as $2 a month. Patreon.com/trickortreatradio. And you can also get access to the full Discord. You can get a Patreon takeover. Lots of stuff on there. So give it a look and consider supporting through the Patreon. Patreon.com/trickortreatradio. All right. The other ways you can help support, you can go to trickortreatradio.com. You can go ahead, you can click on the homepage there, scroll down, look for the Amazon logo. You click on that. It's going to bring you to Amazon. It's going to input our affiliate link, and everything you purchase in that session will get attributed to us. We'll get a tiny little cut. It doesn't cost them any extra, Michael Ravenshadow.
But it's another way to help keep the lights on.
So you can go ahead, use our Amazon link. We'll get a little cut, and it'll help support the show. And then finally, we have the greatest hits of Trick or Treat Radio, Volumes 1 through 3. You can go ahead and listen to all the highlights, the lowlights, the midlights, everything in between, the songs, the arguments, the interviews. We've got lots of stuff on there. So if you guys haven't heard all of the episodes in the back catalog, it's a good little sampler to give you some background on the early days. So you can check those out on trickortreatradio.com. And those are the way you can support us. So, Michael Ravenshadow, you sit down to watch Offseason. In the off-season, what do you do to prepare to watch this movie?
I get excited, Johnny, because, it's getting warmer out here in New England. The grass is starting to grow. Winter's kind of over. We might get another snowstorm. I don't know. There's no off-season. No, there's no off-season in New England. Could snow in April. What are you going to fucking do?
I don't know. Plow it if you're Aries?
Yeah, you could plow. I guess you could plow. If you're a plumber, you can plumb. You know what I mean?
What the fuck is going on here?
No, I don't know. I fucking press play, Johnny. I tried to be a good soldier, and I pressed play, and I watched the fucking movie.
Okay.
That was Josh.
This is the worst one you've ever done.
Probably is. Yeah, this is the worst one. Next week will be really better. But until then, I guess I strapped on.
You go through your week with the same old routine.
What you really want is some blood and thunder in your life.
Well, friend, you found it.
The Chromecast is an adventurous journey through the history of two-fisted pulp stories.
With your hosts, John,
Josh,
and Luke.
We have action,
horror,
and adventure, all through the lens of pulp luminary Robert E. Howard.
Don't just stay in your ordinary life.
Find your pulp life at thechromecast.blogspot.com.
The Chromecast.
The Chromecast.
The Chromecast.
A podcast for the barbarian at heart.
This is Matt Kennedy of Astron 6. You might know me as Manborg. You might know me as Father John Sullivan in Father's Day. But what's important right now is that you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
Oh, delicious nerds. Ms. M knows you like to chat it up with other sexy shut-ins about comics, movies, video games, and your favorite TV shows. If that sounds like you, cuddle up to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group, or the FIB. That stands for Fan Interaction Board. Just go to Facebook and search for Trick or Treat Radio and have more fun than a Jedi at a lightsaber sale. Not enough? Watch us on YouTube, The Deadites TV, all one word. Last but not least, check out the world's most dangerous talk radio show, Trick or Treat Radio, at trickortreatradio.com.
I can tell you I'm never coming back on this show. Especially now that I did that thing that you just made me do. Which I will be sending you an invoice for.
All right, we're back on Trick or Treat Radio. At least Josh and I are. Josh, it looks like you're reading out of the Necronomicon over there.
Maybe I am.
Just a little light reading between between segments.
Yes.
Oh shit, that's funny. All right, so we should jump into the film discussion, even though it's just the two of us. I'll get it all set up, and hopefully the other guys will be back. But we will be talking about the film Offseason. This film started playing in festivals in 2021, but is got an official VOD release and limited theatrical run just this past week. And this will be on Shudder. I'm not sure if they have released a release date yet, but it's Shudder did pick it up, so I know it will be on there. I'll actually try to look it up and see if I can find out when that will be appearing.
All right. Just so you know,
Yeah.
I don't think Aries is coming back.
Oh, okay. Did he say something?
Well, I just noticed in the group chat, he posted, "Sorry, I have to go."
Oh, all right.
So I have no other information. I mean, he was there for a while during the break, and then he blanked his screen, and then I got that message.
Gotcha. All right.
So.
Well, he did look a little down. I don't know, like if something was going on and if something he had to attend to.
I don't know. I don't want to presume things, but he looked like he might not have been feeling all that well.
Yeah. All right. Well, if that's the case, hopefully he's feeling better soon.
Yeah.
But
I hope everything is okay.
Yeah, I appreciate you filling me in on that because I actually hadn't seen that chat. So, all right. Well, let's get a little bit more into this here. And so, yeah, I don't have a date, but it will be appearing on Shudder at some point. But it is available currently on VOD. And the film is written and directed by Mickey Keating, as I mentioned earlier, and it stars Jocelyn Donahue, who most people would probably recognize from House of the Devil, if you've seen that. That's the one when I think of first, when I think of Jocelyn Donahue, is playing the lead in House of the Devil, which is a fucking amazing movie.
Yeah, I think that's the first place I saw her as well.
Yeah, I thought she was really good in that. So she's also been in a few others. She's, Dr. Sleep, she was in that. Yeah. She was in Insidious Chapter 2. Let's see. I Trapped the Devil. That's another one that we did.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think if there's any others that we did on the show that she was on.
I can't remember what, but I feel like not long after House of the Devil, she was also doing some national commercial work.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's funny, now that you say that, I see that she was in a short called Butterfinger the 13th. Is that like a Butterfinger commercial?
I just remember seeing her pop up in a couple of like commercials on network television and stuff.
Huh. She was in a Taco Bell video short recently in 2019.
Yeah, so maybe those are related to.
Interesting.
Yeah. But hey, that's good paying work. So
yeah, hey.
Yeah.
Third from the back.
Yeah.
So Jocelyn Donahue has been in quite a bit. We've seen her in several films, and for me, most notably, I recall House of the Devil. But also featuring Joe Swanberg, who we've seen Joe Swanberg in a ton of stuff. He pops up every now and then in, I don't know, just to name a few. He was in VHS. Actually, I'm looking at his writing credits. Let me get his acting credits. He was in that movie XX, which we did a couple years ago. Sacrament. That's right. He was in the Sacrament. And he was in a few others that we've done over the years. He was in You're Next. We didn't do that on the show, but he was in that. So we've seen Joe Swanberg in several films. And also Richard Brake, who usually is a scene stealer in his films. He's usually the best part of the Rob Zombie films that he's in. He was also in season 2 of The Mandalorian, which I thought was kind of cool. He played an Imperial officer in that.
Oh, was he the bridge keeper?
The bridge, yeah. In this movie, yeah. He was the bridge keeper guy. Yeah. But yeah, he's been a shitload of stuff. But he's always really kind of a standout in a lot of things that he's in. And also we had Melora Walters and Jeremy Gardner. And Jeremy Gardner is a actor and filmmaker we've seen in quite a few things. If you remember Raven Shadow, he wrote, directed, and starred in The Battery, which I know you're a big fan of.
Oh, The Battery. I can show Mary in that.
Yep. So he was in that, and he was in that movie After Midnight we did a couple years back. He was in Spring. He was also in one we did recently. What was that one? Yeah, I guess the last one. Yeah, I guess After Midnight was the one that the last one we did of his that he directed and starred in. He was also in Psychopaths, another Mickey Keating film, and he was also in The Mind's Eye from Joe Begos. But yeah, he's also done a lot of directing work lately, or some. He did The Battery, he did Tex Montana Will Survive, and After Midnight as well. So always good to see Jeremy Gardner show up in something. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't recognize any of the other folks, and it's a pretty small cast as well. I do see Larry Fessenden credited as H. Grierson. I don't actually remember that character, but...
Yeah, I don't remember seeing him.
I don't either.
Was Gardner the dude in the house?
He's the dude with the beard, yeah. The guy who she met in the bar at first.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the last one up.
Yeah, that's him. Yep.
Wait, was H. Grierson the caretaker that sent the letter?
Oh, interesting. It might be, yeah.
And then so Larry would have just been the voiceover of reading the letter.
True.
Yeah.
You could be right about that, yeah, because I don't recall a character with that name, but yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
So, but, hey, it's always good to see Uncle Larry showing up, whether it's, voice only or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and the synopsis for the film: after receiving a mysterious letter, a woman travels to a desolate island town and soon becomes trapped in a nightmare. All right, so let's dive into this film a little bit and discuss. So this the last film that we did of Mickey Keating's, as I mentioned, well, let me take a step back. Mickey Keating, I think he's a really good director. He's done Pod, Darling, Carnage Park, Psychopaths. Those are the ones that we've done of his. And I feel like each one, and I think he might have even mentioned something along these lines, he sort of challenges himself to do something kind of different, to get better at something that he wants to improve upon, And so if you do that in a film, like I think you get the reps to really kind of work on it and make it better, And so it was kind of like, think about that when I watch his films. And with this one, I would say the biggest success of this film, for me anyways, is the atmosphere. This is just steeped in just like this dreamlike, almost surrealistic sort of atmosphere and dread, which I thought was really well done. And that's something I don't recall about any of his other pictures. Maybe a little bit in Darling, but that was kind of a different kind of picture. But with this one, I feel like he really did a really nice job with that. So I feel like that's something he does, is works on something different in each film, and just kind of makes himself a really well-rounded filmmaker. And I think eventually he's going to get some sort of bigger breakthrough, not necessarily a big budget film, but maybe a bigger breakthrough, and he'll be able to utilize all these different talents he's acquired over time. So, that's kind of how I want to kick off my thoughts on like kind of my take on it. I think that the atmosphere in this is off the charts, like good. And I think I do have some not necessarily issues, but there's some stuff that I want to talk about as we get through it. But Josh, how about you? Any kind of initial thoughts that come to mind after checking out this movie?
I agree that the atmosphere is very strong in this film. And if you could take each of his films and almost break them down by like let's say he's maybe tackling a different subgenre every time, this very much seems like a Dream Logic Euro horror film. There was definitely passages that felt almost like something out of a Fulci film or one of the Jean Roland films or something like that. And it definitely has a much different feel than his previous work.
Yeah, it totally does. And that's one of the things I really dug about it, was a lot of times you get directors who they feel like they're following a formula, or they're doing something that, it's just a template, and they're adding different characters or different scenarios in. But I really don't get that about any of Mickey's work, which I think is really interesting. I feel he's kind of a chameleon in that sense, where he can fit in with what he's trying to do,
Right. And it's definitely interesting because I feel almost like he'll, I don't know, maybe he gets into a subgenre or something, and then we'll say, well, how can I do this on a small scale? Whereas like Darling is very much like in the vein of films like Repulsion, and Carnage Park seems more like not really a slasher, but like a survivalist type film. Like
definitely, yeah.
Like in the like older like Deliverance mode, but just set in the desert.
Yeah.
Pod is a creature film. And it's different because there's elements that seem to carry over. He's always got very impressive camera work, and a decent sense of style, but it's interesting that the style is always very different from film to film.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that for sure. Raven Shadow, how about you? Any sort of initial thoughts or things you want to bring up before we dive in?
No, I'm always excited for an MK picture. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I like that this had a good premise.
Is
I
that
don't
it?
think so.
Okay. This
I
had,
don't think
that's gonna go on the box art. This film had a good premise.
It was a good fucking idea. What are you gonna fucking do? And I'm not sure where it was necessarily set. It seemed like it was kind of New Englandy.
Florida.
Well, palm trees, man.
Okay, so that was good too. Okay, so I feel they were like, it was like almost like a Dungeons and Dragons like campaign, where there was like a beach, where there was like a cemetery, there were beaches, and there were woods. They crossed over to Mordor. Like I feel they a lot of ground.
Well,
like,
it's as Josh said, I think that there was some dream logic here for sure. So
Yeah. And also, to be fair to Raven Shadow, even though they were in Florida, they did reference New York and Block Island.
Yeah.
So.
And,
Pick up the Block Island reference. Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Go.
And I will say that even though this was clearly in Florida, because they mentioned that, and also palm trees, but it did have a sort of like sleepy New England kind of like coastal town feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, palm trees, ma. There you go.
Well, it was like, what was it called? Lone Palm. I think it was the name of the island or something like that. Yeah.
But literally, like, she's walking in the cemetery looking for the caretaker, and now she's on the beach looking for her quasi boyfriend, and now she's in the fucking redwoods.
Well, I don't know if we had redwoods per se, but
There's some fucking trees, Johnny. There were some tall fucking trees in those fucking woods.
Have you been to Florida?
I try not to, but
yeah.
I've been to Florida twice.
It's twice too many.
And once I was in my 20s.
But, I mean, yeah, I think that, there probably is an element of that where there's, because clearly it wasn't following normal sort of geographical, like, patterns. Like, is that one time when he's backing up in the car and all of a sudden, like, the road's gone. And, so there's definitely some dream logic in play here. So
but that was more supernatural machinations, though, I felt. But once again, if you're looking for a caretaker in a cemetery, and there's a lot of fucking funeral parlors in New England, I'll tell you that much, Johnny. I passed like 4 of them on the way home.
Do you question your mortality every single time?
I question my mortality every time I let up, Johnny. I'll be but like when you're looking for the caretaker in the woods, and now you're on a beach, and now you're in the Shire. That's weird.
The Shire. Before it was like redwoods. Now we're in the Shire.
Yeah, first we were on Endor.
Yeah.
Now
where are we at now? What's going on?
Now we're in Middle Earth.
They go from fucking Point Break to fucking Endor. It's weird. Thank you, Josh.
Point Break to Endor.
Point Break to Endor.
Yeah. So I think we can kind of dive a little bit deeper into this now, and the thing I enjoyed about this is it gets right to it. We get we get the intro with the mom, and then but right after that we get the letter. Jocelyn Donahue's character of Marie gets a letter basically saying that her mother's tombstone was vandalized, to come at once, so we can figure out how to deal with this. And so her and her guy, George, played by Joe Swanberg, they drive to, I guess from New York is my guess, is where they're coming from. So they drive down to Florida and to go to this island, and they are literally about to close the island for the season. So it's like a seasonal island, and that's why, hence the name Offseason. And they're trying to get there right literally as the bridge man is about to put the drawbridge up, basically. And so they show him the letter and say that, I was called here, and I need to get there. And so he lets them through after a little kind of creepy little encounter, and then they go to the graveyard immediately, and they start to look. She finds her mother's tombstone, sees it sort of like it was like a huge stone, like headstone, and it was like had like a slice diagonally through it. So she's looking for the caretaker of the cemetery, and comes upon this creepy old woman who's a florist, and then they're on a beach, and then they're in the redwoods, as Raven Shadow said. They're in Ewok, Endor, and then sort of like some more surreal things start to happen, and they get stuck on the island because the bridge goes up, and as they're trying to get away. And so now she's kind of stuck here, and then as she's stuck there, we get to learn more about what's going on here. That's when the character of the fisherman, played by Jeremy Gardner, comes in play, and she meets him at, what was it, the Salt Trap? Is that the name of the restaurant, I think?
Sand Trap.
That's it. Yep. So
chapter 3.
And by the way, like, that place was fucking weird, right? Like that dude who was like dancing, that old dude.
Yeah. I mean, like, you're dealing with like townies, right? Like real townies, and that's why it felt very New Englandy to me. For some of those, like your Block Island, like your what do you call it, Nantucket, the Vineyard, but Martha's Vineyard, like that, where it's a certain mentality. That's where you live for those time of year when it's off season. And I think it was kind of a cool premise. Like you get Halloween, you get fucking, bloody Christmas or whatever the fuck. Silent Deadly Night, or Arbor Day or Garbage Day.
Arbor Day.
But I thought off season was that could be a thing. Especially in our neck of the woods, you know what I mean? Like in Florida, it's all season, right? So what's the point? Yeah, why is it in Florida?
I mean, it could be because hurricane season. I don't know what exactly what.
It looked like storms were coming.
Yeah.
And the whole basis of the mythology is that people had to find a way to deal with the horrible storms and weather and survive.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, because Josh is right. Like, that's part of kind of like what's going on, like the mythology of the place. So,
you think they would just all move to the mainland, right?
Right.
There wasn't a lot of them there.
So there is, I don't want to get too much into spoiler territory, but there is an element of, I guess I'd say Lovecraftian horror going on.
Yeah, it's not as obvious as like a reference to any specific creature or old one, so to speak, but just a general idea of an spectral force that is older than people.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's definitely something going on in regard to that, and these people have some sort of agreement, and it is kind of an interesting lore, and I think that it was explained just enough. Like, you don't have to over explain this kind of thing. You don't have to go overboard. I mean, because you could very easily just get bogged down in your own lore. So I did appreciate that, and I think that also if you keep it a little vague, you keep kind of guessing what's going to happen, and that's another element where I think that you can really thrive on something like this.
Yeah. Well, the other good thing too is that if you keep it vague enough, you don't have to show us anything.
Yeah, true. Yep. Which, once again, for a low budget film, works.
Right. If they went into too much information, then we would start expecting something to happen or appear.
Who was the actress that was the mom? I feel we've seen her before.
We have, and we talked about this while you were smoking. So she
was in some of the Paul Thomas Anderson films.
Yeah, she's great.
Well, yeah,
She's
her name's Melora Walters. Yeah, she was in Boogie Nights. But she was actually in a few movies we've done somewhat recently. Man, what was the name of that movie? I got to look it up now. Oh, that's right. It was the horror western. I don't think we really liked it all that much. The Pale Door. She was in that one, and I think she was in one other film we did somewhat recently. I can't think of the name of it right now, but yeah. So Josh is right though. She's she's been in a lot of stuff, and but Paul Thomas Anderson films. So that's probably where you recognize her: Magnolia, Boogie Nights, stuff like that.
Yeah, and she's so good, and she did a great performance in that role. Like that was, wow.
In this role, you mean?
Yeah, in this role.
Yeah, it was I wouldn't say necessarily a bit part. It was kind of a big part, but yeah, she didn't have a ton of screen time. But it was an interesting role for sure. And but yeah, this is a film, like, I think if somebody told me, if they explained this movie to me, explain the premise and explain kind of what happens, I feel like I'd be like, you know what, it doesn't sound very interesting. I probably will pass on that. But I think the execution here is where this film really thrives, because I think that, there's a lot of, as I mentioned earlier, like just kind of this existential dread. It's just kind of dripping with it, and I feel like it does a really nice job of really playing that up. So while not a lot happens at times, I feel like that dread really carries it and makes you wonder what's going to happen next. It's sort of that breadcrumbing you through the story, because if you had too much info at the beginning, I feel like it would have just been like, okay, well, I'll just wait for the thing to happen or a thing to happen. But I feel like with this, you don't quite know where it's going to go, and that keeps you on your toes, as well as the existential dread just sort of like taking you along for the ride. And even though we get to see, for the most part, we get to see Jocelyn Donahue just kind of run through like an old sort of like island town, I think it still was very compelling in for the majority of the film, despite that, not a ton happening because of those strong elements.
Yeah, I definitely agree that this is the type of film which, in lesser capable hands from a director or from cast, could have completely fallen apart. Because at face value, it's not the most original. The concept of somebody or a child being called back to like a hometown, mm-hmm. and some plot being set against them, usually it's more like of an inheritance type of thing or something of that nature. But the basic setup is fairly common. But it is the way they employ the use of atmosphere and setting that really helps set it apart. There's a really good amount of fog in this film.
Yeah, there is actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved a lot of those cemetery scenes with the fog. I thought that was, because I think, we know that that's not the easiest thing to do, especially on a budget,
right,
to get it just right. And I feel like it looked pretty damn good in this. So,
and those foggy cemetery scenes totally reminded me of City of the Living Dead, aka Gates of Hell. Now, the other interesting tie-in, I'm not saying this was an intentional reference, but once Jocelyn Donahue leaves the graveyard and goes to the beach, and then ends up in the in Raven Shadow's forest. You notice there's like a rising like background noise of like wild animals.
Yeah,
and that is also used in the Gates of Hell when the spirits are out roaming the streets. There's inexplicably this like weird low-level background noise of like zoo animals and wild animals.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I almost wish I watched this movie with headphones on, because I thought the sound design was really well done. There's a lot of really great sounds in the background, and there was even this like almost like, I want to say it had the same effect as like a snap. It was like this trill that would sort of go up to like a high pitch like and that happened a lot throughout the film, and I feel like it was almost like, I mean, maybe I'm reaching a little bit on this, but it seems like it was almost like a transition point between events happening or something like that. Like it happened when she was in the elevator, like, and several times throughout, like it was almost like a motif that kept running through where this would happen, like that would lead to something else. So I thought that was kind of an interesting use of that. And even during the production credits before the film started, there was some really great audio of just, I knew this was going to be like a seaside town because I could hear like the seagulls and the waves breaking, and I thought it just set like a really good atmosphere right off the bat, because a lot of times you kind of just sit through these production credits and it's just like, okay, how many is there going to be? There's fucking 40 of them, like let's get to the movie, but I think if you can actually utilize them in a smart way, in which I feel like this did, it makes it a little bit more interesting.
And those beach scenes were very impressive because just to get this vast, desolate, stormy beach, and they had to do all that sound in post because whatever they recorded day of was nothing but wind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're right. There was some. I really like the panning shots. So it'd be like show one side of the beach and then completely like flip the camera around like a 180 almost to the other side.
Right.
And they were obviously completely empty beaches, which I'm sure. I mean, I don't know exactly where they filmed, but probably is not the easiest thing to get that kind of shot. So
right, because I do know from listening to a little bit of an interview with Mickey Keating that this was not a closed down town. Like there were tourists when they were shooting. Also, when they shot all the restaurant stuff, on the other side was a full bar of local regulars.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it did feel like a ghost town, So I mean, kudos to him for getting that feel. But and it also sort of had I agree more with what you're saying, Josh, with some of the Euro horror, but I also think there is kind of an element of like Silent Hill as well. Because like when you think of Silent Hill, you think of like ghost town with fucking fog everywhere, right? So I think that also was sort of like present for me as thinking about that. And I'm talking about the video game. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't speak to those, but yeah, I think I did enjoy Jocelyn Donahue in this. I think I liked her performance. I think that she carried a lot of the movie, and she so she had to have her performance definitely hinged on whether or not you dug this movie. And I think that her performance was good, and the other sort of like tertiary characters were also good, like Joe Swanberg's character and Jeremy Gardner and Richard Brake and all the others. Evil Corny just said the sound is amazing, Wolfie. I have 7.1 surround in my basement. Yeah, that I would love to watch it in a setup like that, or even just headphones. It like for me, just coming through my sound bar under my TV, it sounded really good. So
imagine that museum scene in 7.1.
Oh yeah, that scene was great. I actually love that scene, especially with all the audio and the sounds in the back. Yeah, it was really cool. So Raven Shadow, this doesn't necessarily seem like your bag, but overall, what are you thinking here?
No, I mean don't go to bad places. You know what I mean? Like, if you know some shit is fucking whack, don't go there. And she knew this place was fucking whack. And I like the scene when they pulled over with George and a heroine. It's like, yeah, by the way, my mom might have been a demon.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
And this and that. I probably should have told you. And he gets out and he starts smoking a butt. Like, fucking really? Really. That was the most realist fucking moment of this picture. Was the dude just like, okay, I'm kind of with my sort of ex-girlfriend. We might get back together again. I'm going to fucking drive down to Florida from fucking New York. But fucking really, the fucking bridge is closed. I'm fucking trying, baby.
Yeah, that was that. I thought that scene was like super. Well, maybe not super awkward, but it was pretty entertaining.
It was real.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, like I mean, we don't know how well these two know each other. I mean, obviously, it seems like they're partners, but like have they been partners for a month? Have they been partners for 10 years? Like, it seems like it's more on the early stages of things by what we saw. But yeah, she's, she doesn't tell him the full story of what's going on here, because if you talk about a deal with a demon, like what's that person going to say, Yeah, let's drive down, 20 hours and go visit your demon mom. Yeah, okay.
Well, and also, to be fair, she didn't believe any of it until she got down there and things were weird.
True, and yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not for nothing though. We've all had our own. I mean, I don't know about you folks, but like this fucking childhood stories, and I got some fucking weirdness stories.
You got some demons?
Yeah, my demon's name is Nerve Wrecker. But I get, the grandparents told some stories about weirdness. But still, when you invite someone down, like, oh, just so you know, this is probably not true. But just so you know, this is what I thought until I was, 24.
Right. There may or may not be a demon involved.
Right. Like there may be an aqua demon. There could be a Lovecraftian god. I'm not sure. That's why we don't go down south. Use your community. And there was definitely a level of intimacy between George and our heroine. I'm not saying they were fucking going steady, but they had a level of intimacy. And the dude drove her down there.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Sometimes I have a lot of bad judgment.
So it's, we won't talk into great detail of what happens, when everything starts to kind of go down. But, this is a very simple story. It's go down, sort of get called down to this ghost town and look after your mom's grave and try to figure things out, and then get stuck down there and find out the secrets of the island and what happens when it's in the off season and all the tourists disappear. Like kind of a cool setup. And that's there's obviously some additional details that are slightly spoilery, but I mean it's a pretty simple setup, and there's not a lot of really like major twists and turns. We find out more along the way, but I think it's just a simple story that's delivered very effectively in the way it's presented. And I have some issues with it. I think the end, I won't say obviously what happened, but I think the end left me hanging a little bit. Like I was kind of like, oh man, like I think it's a fine ending, and I think that the viewer can sort of like read what they want into it, but I feel like it could have been, I don't know, I just felt like it left me kind of dry afterwards, like when it ended, I was kind of like, I really dug a lot of that, but like the end was
So is it fair to say, Josh is ready to jump on something, like there's only so many premises left, right? There's only so many haunted houses you can do. There's only so many going back to the ancestral land stories.
Did you say incestual land?
Ancestral.
Okay. Okay. That's better.
Yeah. It's not like, this is my stepdaughter.
Jesus.
I'm not going there. No, ancestral.
Okay, thank you.
You know, like there's only so many like premises that we can go back to the well for. I think it did a good job of, okay, fucking demons are on amok when it's fucking winter. Okay, that's kind of cool. But it's still, the execution is the thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think a good premise can differentiate, like even like the CM Punk haunted house movie we watched with the
Girl on the third floor.
Yeah, with the walls ejaculating.
The ejaculating walls.
Yeah. You didn't see a lot of cum in The Exorcist. You know what I mean? Like, just saying. That's different. Josh hasn't seen that yet.
Oh, I've seen a lot of things.
I know. You live in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
That's true.
But
Plus, you know, if you want to go back to your Exorcist remark, you could always do a little digging online and find a film called The Triple Exorcist. I think you'll be happy.
I'm going to borrow MZ's computer.
So, what are you going to do, Raven Shadow?
Yeah. But I think a nice slight twist on a premise can make something new, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So are you positing that this did that? Was it a fresh take for you? Fresh taste?
Yes, this is the fresh taste of Bel Air.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. Well, didn't bring up the score. I actually really dug the score in this too. I thought it really added atmosphere to the proceedings of, you know, what was going on. So I really dug the score. Like everything technically about this film was really on point. Let me just, the score was done by Schaefer James, who I think, this is his first credit as a composer. So, I mean, it was a really good score. The cinematography was Mac Fiskin, and it sounds familiar to me. Oh, okay. He's worked with Mickey on some of his previous films. He was on Pod, Carnage Park, and probably some others. He's done 38 films. So yeah, he's certainly had his. Oh, he did Psychopaths as well. Carnage Park, Darling. So I think he's pretty much done most of Mickey's films. But yeah, I think that the cinematography here was really kind of stand out. I think all the technical aspects were totally on point. And, you know, I think taking a very simple story is a really effective way to go about doing this. If this had too many twists and turns, or if it was too convoluted, like I just feel like it would have been significantly harder to pull off. And I don't feel like we got something that was, he didn't bite off more than he could chew, I guess is kind of what I'm getting at. So, do you guys have any additional thoughts about anything in this film that you wanted to bring up? Are there any other references that you thought of, Josh, or anything like that before we go talk about the verdict?
You know, the only other thing that I can really think of, and this is maybe a little bit on the more obvious side, but obviously kind of reminded me a little bit of The Fog.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, have you ever seen a film called Messiah of Evil?
Oh, you know what? Did I see that back in the day? I don't think so. I know I can think of the box art because I remember, working at the video store, but I don't think I've ever seen it actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a woman goes to a small California town I think she's looking for her father, who's an artist that disappeared. Like he stopped writing letters to her or something, and kind of the whole town is wrapped up in this weird cult. But there's certain things that kind of had that same vibe to it.
Oh, yeah, I could totally see that.
Yeah,
even just reading the synopsis, it's very similar. A young woman goes searching for her missing artist father. her journey takes her to a strange Californian seaside town governed by a mysterious undead cult.
Right.
So
Right.
there's certainly some different elements in there, but very similar in terms of what, of what's going on. Yeah, I'd actually like to check that one out.
Definitely check it out. It's a little rough around the edges, and I can't remember the names of the people who wrote and directed it, but they actually went on to do some impressive stuff.
Gloria Katz and Willard Huck.
Yeah.
Huyck. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Oh,
Yeah.
he ended up writing Howard the Duck.
Yep.
Wow.
They worked on one of the Indiana Jones films too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Temple of Doom. They wrote
Yeah.
Temple of Doom. Holy shit.
Yep. So I mean,
that's crazy.
they
American
yeah.
Graffiti too.
Yep.
Wow.
So, yep. And they made Messiah of Evil. Now definitely Messiah Evil and Offseason are both very different films, but at their core there's a distinct similarity, and I kind of got the vibe of one from the other.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah. The only other thing I can think of is again with those beach scenes, the French filmmaker Jean Rollin, most well known for erotic vampire films, loves shooting things on like overcast, stormy beaches.
Okay.
So that, and he's also known for his films having a very languid, dreamlike logic and pace to them. So I don't know if there's any direct referencing, but I kind of feel like there might have been some influence there.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the other things I dig about Mickey Keating is he kind of wears his influences on his sleeve. Like he's not ashamed to really admit like what had influenced him. And I think that there, especially films like you mentioned Messiah of Evil. I mean, it's a film that maybe not a lot of people have seen, but it's one that I feel like, yeah, why not like kind of take some premise from a film from the 70s that, and kind of like, not necessarily, it's certainly not a remake, but take some similarities and kind of make your own thing with it. And
yeah,
just
kind of use it as like a jumping off point, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So did you have something else, Raven? I looked over your hand. I don't know if you were pointing at the screen or if you had your hand up.
No, I'm just chilling.
Okay, you're just chilling. All right. Well, let's go to the verdict and find out what we thought.
Trick or treat, baby. I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, it is verdict time. We're going to let you know whether Offseason was a trick or a treat and any final thoughts we may have. Let's kick it off with Josh.
I'm going to say this is a film I'd heard a little bit about and was looking forward to seeing it. I know I've said this about a number of films in the past, but even though I absolutely love this, I really feel like it would have been even better if I got to see it theatrically.
Yeah.
Just that mood, when you kind of just really fall into the pace of a film and the sound and everything. But I'm going to say it is definitely a treat, and it is a recommend with the caveat that I'll say up front. It is, kind of got a very, it's got a slower pace to it, and it has that dream logic that I know doesn't work for everyone. So if you already know you don't like those two things, maybe skip it.
Yeah, no, I could see that. All right. Michael Ravenshadow.
Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. To Justice's point, yes, dream logic is a thing. There was some cool ideas here. I'm interested. I don't want to armchair quarterback this movie, but I thought there were other ideas that I'm very much fascinated by. Like what do they do in June? You know what I mean?
You know what? That's not really it's not really a compelling story because there's tourists hanging out, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
you just want to see tourists going into stores and buying shit.
well, it's kind of like in the fucking the Purge movies. Like, I'm more fascinated by the tourist industry in those worlds when the fucking purge is going on. Like, fucking go to Canada because it's fucking safe over there. You know, leave the fucking states. Like, I don't know. I don't give a fuck about the purge.
So Raven Shadow wants to see a movie where an American family goes on vacation to Canada, and you only tangentially hear reports about the purge on the news, like just in the background every once in a while.
But isn't that a movie like you would think it'd be really expensive to go to Canada during the purge, right? Like gas prices are going up. Then what happens? I want a movie, The Purge, like Purge Eve, and I want Purge the day after, where it's like, hey Ted, sorry about last night. You can get a new wife probably. Like,
Jesus.
Like that I find that more interesting than the actual purge. But you know what? I didn't. Palm trees aside, this could have been Nantucket. Just stay home, have a staycation. You know what I mean? Why you gotta leave? But overall, I guess treat. It would be a treat.
All right, and for me. Yeah, I'm gonna go treat too. I like, as I've stated, I really dug the atmosphere, the sense of dread, it's sort of like existential dread. I really dug that, and I think I totally carried the movie. And I did enjoy Jocelyn Donahue's performance in this, and I just think it's kind of a really well-made, creepy movie. There was some great sort of like, some great shots and scenes in it. And yeah, like as Josh mentioned earlier, that museum scene I thought was really well done. So yeah, I dig this. And Mickey Keating continues to, make some really good films. And as I've stated, like, he is sort of like a king of kind of redefining himself and doing so with a small budget and making compelling movies. And I think it's just a matter of time before, I'm pretty sure we said this before when we talked about Darling or something. I think it's just a matter of time before someone starts throwing some money at this dude and lets him sort of do something with a bigger budget. And, I mean, he's a good writer. He's a good director. I think he can do it. So hopefully, there's something else coming down the pike for him, because he's really good at what he does. And, from our time talking to him, I don't know, like 3, 4, 5 years ago now. I don't even remember how long ago it was. He's a real cool guy, nice to talk to, loves filmmaking. So I'm actually going to look up and see what episode we had him on, in case people want to go back and check that out. But it looks like his next film is in pre-production now, and it's called Crooks. And maybe he does have a bigger budget, because I'm looking at the cast, and he has Lena Headey in his cast. Raven Shadow Cersei from Game of Thrones, and also Juno Temple, who is in what's the character she plays? She's in Ted Lasso. She plays the character of Keely Jones, and I think she's awesome in that. So I'm actually forward to seeing her do some film work. And not familiar with this actor, Mark Casson. Let's see. He's also listed as an actor in it. He was also in Psychopaths that Mickey Keating did previously. And okay, so he's done some work with him before. But looking forward to this. This sounds there's not much about it. It's in pre-production now. There's not even a synopsis, but it's written and directed by Mickey Keating and stars Lena Headey and Juno Temple. So pretty cool. Good for him, man.
Yeah.
All right, so that is going to wrap it up. That is our discussion about Mickey Keating's Offseason. It is available on VOD if you guys want to check it out. And it is eventually going to be on Shudder. So if it's one you feel you want to wait for Shudder, it will be on Shudder eventually. So typically, I think it's like usually 3 to 4 months until it pops up on Shudder. So
also, according to the that interview I'd heard with him, it's getting some form of theatrical release.
Yeah, I'd heard that it was. I wasn't sure if it was already in limited theaters now or if it was going to be, but
yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but that's awesome. Like, yeah, definitely, that's great. All right, so let me see. Next week, we are going to do a movie called Take Back the Night. It is a horror film written and directed by Gia Elliott, who is, I believe, a first-time filmmaker. Yep, this is the first thing she's worked on. So we obviously don't have a body of work to compare for her, but it sounds like an interesting movie. I've seen some pretty good stuff about it, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's written by Gia Elliott and Emma Fitzpatrick. So all, written and directed by women, and it has a very mostly female cast, it looks like. So I do know the synopsis. I haven't seen the full trailer. I think I watched a little bit of the trailer. I'm not going to say too much, but this one looks like it could be an interesting discussion. So next week we'll be doing Take Back the Night. It is, let me just see when. Yeah, it's available on VOD now. So you can buy this on, Prime, iTunes, wherever you do your VOD stuff. It probably will be available there. So you can give that a look and join us for next week as we do Take Back the Night. And if you guys have thoughts, you can always send us a voice message or an email, podcast@trickortreatradio.com. All right, so we're tracking pretty well here. I didn't actually mention, but Aries unfortunately had to run. Josh had noticed that maybe he wasn't feeling so hot, so Raven Chow, you didn't even notice?
He wasn't here? I thought he was.
You thought he just had nothing at all to say about that movie?
Yeah, I thought he was just like saving it up. Really? I literally had no idea. And I've known Aries since I was like 16.
He's been gone since the last break.
Shit.
Yeah, when you came back from smoking, he was gone.
I saw technical difficulties, but I thought his beard was stuck in
a fan.
Yeah, stuck in a fan. I thought he was on. I hope he's okay.
All right, so
whenever it was, I hope he's okay.
Yeah, we hope he's all right. And Corny actually made a comment. He said, "Oh, did Aries get banished?" I don't think he got banished, but hopefully he's okay. We don't want him. He doesn't need to go to the Phantom Zone. I know
Aries, we canceled Aries.
What
it was because he was making fun of Rom earlier, so Rom banished him like he does the Dire Wraiths.
Yeah, Dire Wraiths and fuck you, Aries. I'm fucking Rom the Space Knight like a motherfucker. Rom the Space Knight. It's a great fucking design, right? Like Rom is. What are you doing?
I'm not disagreeing. Let's think of it. Somebody invented a toy, and then they're like, let's make a comic book out of it.
I really want to spend a day, Josh. Listen. Me and you, okay?
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to go to Art Bradish. We'll get some hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to my place. and was going to flip through ROM comics. Just see what happens.
You're gonna flip through rom-coms, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing bad's going to happen, but we'll just flip through them and see what happens. That'd be fun. Maybe we'll get Joe's my parents' house. We'll fucking put accessories together. And then
this is we're talking about Rom the Space Knight, right?
I'm just talking to Josh right now. Don't worry about it.
I know, but that's what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Space Knight, yeah. The fucking Dire Wraiths, the fucking Silver, fucking whatever the fuck. So, I'm saying.
Why hasn't anybody put Rom in a rom-com yet? Come on.
Yeah, the rom-com.
Let's see. Evil Corny says Raven Shadow didn't miss getting yelled at.
No, I don't miss that, Corny. Thank you.
He just thought Aries was being exceptionally nice tonight.
Yeah, I thought he was doing his snake eye.
Well, you didn't know. I mean, because sometimes Aries doesn't talk very much, so you probably didn't even know.
I've known Aries since fucking 90 whatever the fuck, and
90 whatever the fuck,
and he hasn't talked. No, I saw technical difficulties.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim Chuma is hanging out. Tim from Melbourne, and Tim let me know that I didn't update the website, which I appreciate, even though it's a little bit late now. But with all the issues going on with getting the show up and running today, that one slipped by. So I appreciate that, Tim. It is updated now, so if someone goes to watch after the fact, they'll see it updated. So
what the fuck, honey?
Yeah, you're gonna pull that, Raven Shadow.
No, I'm fun with I love
you. Funning me?
I'm just tickling your feathers.
All right. So
I thought of another film actually that I was reminded of. Did you guys cover a film called The Sound, also called Block Island Sound?
No, I don't believe so.
It came out like last year, I think. It popped up on
streaming. No, we didn't. No.
Yeah, and it is it's kind of like a slow burn thriller about a fisherman on Block Island, who thinks that some of the issues that he's dealing with might be being controlled by a malevolent force that lives in the ocean.
Oh, okay.
It's not entirely successful in the way it pulls things off, but it's definitely worth a watch.
All right. Yeah, it's got Jeremy Holm in it, who we met Raven Shadow at Scaricon, and he was the Ranger from the movie The Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
That's joint.
Yeah, that guy was awesome. So there's that. Evil Corny also said in the chat room, this film, speaking of off-season, he said this film reminded me of the series The Third Day. It also takes place on an island. The road to it is flooded most of the time.
Oh, right. That's a HBO season that came out over last year, I think. I didn't watch it, but I do remember seeing the previews for it.
Yeah, I thought that sounded familiar. I haven't seen it either, but yeah. Oh, actually, this is a little bit of a diversion, but I wanted to ask you, Raven Shadow, forgot to earlier. Are you familiar with the comic DMZ, Raven Shadow?
Yeah, it was a Vertigo book.
Yeah.
That I believe they're doing a TV show.
Yeah, it just dropped today, actually, on HBO Max.
Oh, the show drop? Really? Really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just, the full season or if it is, just one episode or how they're doing it. But, yeah, it looks like just one episode. Oh, wait, maybe not. I think there's 5 out. At least there's reviews of 5 of them. Sorry, 4. Okay, so looks like there's 4 episodes on IMDb that have ratings on them. So I assume people have seen these, unless they're early reviews or something like that. But yeah, DMZ stands for Demilitarized Zone, and is a comic book that has been turned into a series, and it stars Rosario Dawson. And what?
How fucking dope is Rosario Dawson? She's fucking literally in everything. From Kevin Smith to the Marvel Cinematic Universe to now
Star Wars, like huge character.
Star Wars, DC, DMZ, like not for nothing. But for Rosario motherfucking Dawson, right? How killer is she?
She's good.
Kids, that piece of shit movie.
Holy shit, was she in that? I haven't seen that since the 90s.
Yeah.
That was like her breakout role.
Oh, wow.
And with that Chloe Simone.
Savigny or Savini, yeah.
And Casper the fucking douchebag ghost, that fucking prick.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the cast right now. Justin Pierce.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Casper.
He was great in the second Friday, but like this character was a douchebag in Kids. Kids wasn't fun.
No, it's not supposed to be fun.
Kids wasn't Clerks. Just saying.
Did you think it was when you showed up to the theater? Was that the problem?
Like, okay, it was maybe they, Snoochie Boochies.
No. Sorry to interrupt, Raven Shadow, but Corny says that's right. I forgot that it's only DMZ is only 4 episodes, and he said they dropped all 4 today.
Good.
So it's like a mini series. I think they had some issues with COVID filming it, and they weren't sure if it was going to be more than just this mini series. So I think they're dropping it out there, see how it does, and maybe there'll be more. I'm not sure, but yeah. And he also said that Jude Law, I think, was in that show the third day. Oh, and yeah, he said Ava DuVernay directed DMZ. She was supposed to do the New Gods film until it was canceled. That's right.
No one gives a rat's about the New Gods.
You don't?
I care about the New Gods more than I do the fucking Inhumans. I tried to watch Inhumans twice, and I fucking fell asleep both times.
Both times, huh?
Well, not Inhumans, the Eternals. I care about.
I was gonna say, yeah, okay.
I care about the Inhumans more than I do the Eternals.
Wasn't there an Inhumans TV series, or am I crazy?
That was, yeah. It was actually it was good. It was my dude from the Weston.
Clint Eastwood.
And thank you. It was Clint Eastwood. No, Ansel Mount.
Oh, Anson Mount. Yeah.
Ansel Mount.
Anson Mount played Black Bolt.
Yeah. But he was on what the fuck in the Railroad show on FX. Devil's Rail, Demons, fucking whatever the fuck. It was like, it wasn't Deadwood, but it was the second best Deadwood that you can get.
Corny says it was bad. I think he's talking about the Inhumans.
No, Humans was fine, but I don't give a fuck about the Eternals.
Did you watch the series, The Inhumans?
I did.
Okay, you did. Okay.
Fine. It was fine. I love Ansel Mount. I do.
Anson
Mount.
Yes. You want to mount Anson?
I mean, if it gets cold enough.
Well, it is New England, so.
And they shaved Medusa's head. That was outrageous. That was a fucking powerful scene. They had fucking Karnak. It's just so stupid. It's awesome, but it's stupid. Like, but I don't give a fuck about the Eternals.
All right.
I haven't gotten to the Eternals yet, but since we have Disney Plus, about 2 months ago, I took on the task of there's an option on there to watch all the MCU stuff in timeline order.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like 80% of the way through doing that.
Oh, it's kind of cool they do that.
Yeah.
Some great. We are literally in a gluttony of riches. It's so many great things out there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know I forget where we're gonna go. Oh, I wanted to ask if you knew about DMZ, if you read the comic, but you have not.
I didn't, but I know it's a thing. I know it's a thing.
Yeah.
I know.
Now tell us everything about it.
Yeah.
There's probably guns. There's probably guns. I think did Warren Apple start it? I don't think so.
No, he didn't.
But I'll yeah, we got it. Marion.
DMZ is written by Brian Wood.
If he could.
He would. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to check it out. It looks like it's pretty interesting. So, but I still haven't seen, like, I don't know, there's tons of shows. I haven't seen Sweet Tooth. What was that other one that was based on a comic? Why the Last Man? Like, you know.
Well, that's FX. Yeah. That was,
right.
And didn't that already get canceled?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It's just such a shame because that comic is the first Vertigo book that I started dating after Preacher.
Was it serious?
It was a very serious relationship. Because I'm like, I just can't see any new theories after Preacher. And then Y came out. I'm like, yo, what's up, monkey?
What's up? What was the monkey's name again?
Yorick.
Yorick.
No. Ampersand.
Ampersand. That's right. Yeah, Yorick was the dude.
Was the dude. Ampersand was the fucking monkey. I'm like, yo, dude, I fucking bawled like a fucking baby on a fucking big wheel last day. Shoot. Nope.
Evil Corny says The Eternals was a good film. I wish Ares was here to yell at you.
Ares will fall asleep during The Eternals. He doesn't know anybody about that. There's no one with a beard. Nobody's Irish.
You sure about that?
I'm trying, Corny.
There's not one Irish Eternal.
Probably not. Probably not.
All right. Well, we have a couple voice messages. Let me see what we got here. God damn it. Josh didn't leave us a fucking voice message this week. Son of a bitch.
Oh, and Johnny lost my one from last week.
I didn't lose it. I searched. There was nothing. The last one I got from you was the third. Oh, man. Now, Corny gives me shit for forgetting to play his voice messages on the Star Wars podcast. Now Josh is giving me shit. All right. So let's take a look here and just mentioned him a few minutes ago. And we get a voice message from Tim from Melbourne. Tim Chumon. Let's check in with Tim.
Tim from Melbourne here again. Just saw the movie X by Ty West today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's just so boring and lazy. Everything from the title to the movie and that, it's not sexy. It's not exciting at all. It's just some old woman decides, elderly lesbian with no upper body strength kills like people a quarter of her age. Yeah, no. And then they've already filmed a prequel, so it doesn't really even matter what I review it. I'll just give it 0 out of 5.
Wow.
It's just not worth your time at all. All right, thanks. See ya.
All right, dynamite drop there, Tim. X didn't work for him. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out X, and when it hits VOD, we'll be doing it on the show for sure.
It's playing in the theaters near me, so I'm going to try to go check it out.
Yeah, I'm excited to have Ty West return to horror films.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, House of the Devil, that film is a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. And I keep wanting him to sort of regain that sort of like touch.
Right.
I've liked some of his other films, but I just feel like they haven't like reached the height of that film. And
right.
It's always a little, I'm not going to say I guess a little disappointing because that film was just so good. And, I there's parts about The Sacrament that I dug, and there's some of his VHS work. But by and large, his work hasn't been up to par with that film. So I'm actually curious to see. Oh, actually, you know what? I forgot. I really did dig The Innkeepers as well, though.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is when I worked at the cable car, we showed House of the Devil and The Innkeepers when they came out. And House of the Devil we had for a couple of weeks. The Innkeepers we had for like a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It did well and just kind of kept sustaining that 9 p.m. slot, And so I was excited when I just happened to look online and see that X is playing at 3 theaters locally, including the Showcase.
Oh, wow. So it's playing in the big theater. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because he did The Sacrament, and then he did the next film. He did a couple episodes of TV stuff, and then he did In a Valley of Violence in 2016, which I mostly liked.
Yeah, I thought it was good, and I thought that was kind of going to maybe get some bigger theatrical play for him, but I don't think it did.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it did. But from there, he just did basically he's just been doing TV since. I mean, it's a good gig to get now, especially because TV is, streaming has turned into something completely different. So,
and I'm always excited if I'm watching a series and I see he pops up as a director,
Yeah. So he's worked on let's see, he did Wayward Pines, Outcast, The Exorcist TV series, The Passage, Chambers, The Resident soundtrack, Tales from the Loop, and he did 2 episodes of Them. Which I didn't see them.
I thought he also did an episode or 2 of the Scream television series.
He did, yeah. That was before In a Valley of Violence. Okay. But he did do Scream as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's good to see him back doing film. And I know X, I have seen some divisive things. For the most part, it seems to be getting good reviews, though.
Yeah.
So I am definitely curious to check that out, and as soon as it does, appear on VOD, we'll be doing it on the show. But looking forward to that. And I did hear that there is a prequel that he's going to be making, or it's already filmed, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. He had already shot it.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, good for him. Hope he gets back into films and does some more stuff there.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks, Tim. Always good to hear from you. Now, let's check in. Actually, I don't know who this is from. It just says saving a prayer. That's all it says on the voice message. So your guess is as good as mine. Let's check in and hear who this is.
Don't say a prayer for me now. Save it till the morning after. No, don't say a prayer for me now. Save it till the morning after. Karaoke time, guys. Save it till the morning after.
Come on, Ray Shadow.
Save it till the morning after.
Oh my God, we're gonna hear the whole song.
Looking road, I try to hold the rising floods that fill my skin. Don't ask me why, I'll keep my promise, melt the ice. And you wanted to dance, so I asked you to dance, but fear is in your soul. Maybe shadow. We'll sell a little one-night stand, but we can't call it paradise. Don't say a prayer for me now. Save it till the morning after. No, save a prayer for me now. Save it till the morning after. Save it till the morning after.
Oh my God.
the morning after.
Should we stick with this, Raven Shadow? I'm going to turn it down a little bit, and we'll let it play out. I think we should call this segment Karaoke Time with Bobby Walnuts. I'm going to turn it up.
Come on, everybody, let's go.
Mix too.
Yeah.
Save a prayer till the morning after. One more time, guys. Save a prayer till the morning after. Save a prayer till the morning after. Save a prayer till the morning after.
Raven Chat, where's your lighter? Well, you're too late now. Oh, man. So Bobby Walnut's rocking the Duran Duran. I can dig it, man. Oh, shit. I think that prayer was for you, Raven Chat. Oh, there you go. There you got your lighter now. Nice. You satisfied with that, Raven Chat?
I need something stronger, Johnny.
What?
I need something stronger, Johnny.
You need something stronger? Like what? Pantera?
Yeah, Pantera.
I think you meant stronger than a prayer.
Josh, why don't you just come over?
Because gas prices are insane. That's why.
Don't worry, Raven Shadow. I'll come over again in the not too distant future, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Raven Chow, give him a 5 or a 10er, okay?
All right, I'll give him gas money.
Give gas money.
No, just next time we'll plan ahead so that you got pizza waiting for me when I get there.
I was gonna go to Good Guys Pizza, and I was gonna get a hamburger and pepperoni pizza to have on deck, and we can microwave it or put it in the fucking toaster oven to have it be ready. But I thought
next time.
Yeah, there you go. All right, next time. All right, so I think that is it for voice messages. Oh, Evil Corny said, "Jeebus Christ." He said, "I have hiccups from laughing at that." The Bobby Walnuts, I think. Corny also said, "I saw House of the Devil for the first time a couple weeks ago and loved it." Hell yeah, Corny. That's a fucking great movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's probably like one of the movies that, like, I think, let's see, it came out, I want to say 2009? Somewhere around
Sounds
there.
about right.
Yeah, 2009. Okay, so that's before we started doing the show. But like before we started doing the show, that was like my go-to recommendation for people as like a horror movie to check out that most people hadn't seen. You know, so yeah, it's real good. So people should absolutely give that a watch if you haven't seen it before.
I have a funny story kind of related to when we showed that for a while at the theater.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you were somewhat familiar with the cable car. It was a general art house theater.
Yeah.
But I remember one time the owner came up and he's like, I started getting these emails from a church group that wants to start renting the theater on weekends to hold services. And he's like, I've never gotten any of these before. And he's like, we got like 4 of them in the past week. And he said that he thinks they were kind of targeting the theater because at first he didn't think of it, but then he pulled up the website. So we had just gotten through like a 3-month run of Lars von Trier's Antichrist.
Oh, Jesus.
We were showing House of the Devil, which was going to be followed by the black metal documentary Until the Light Takes Us. And we were advertising like an October midnight screening of Gates of Hell.
Oh my fucking God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All completely like purely like accidental, right?
Yeah, yeah. So the theory was that they stumbled across the website and they were like, we have to save these people.
That's so good. Oh fuck, that's amazing. All right, so that is. Let me just double check. I think that's it for voice messages, though. Thought we had one more, but that's it.
Oh, I can tell you what my last voicemail was.
Oh yeah. I want you to talk about what
my quick review of Fresh. It was something I'd been looking forward to seeing, and I quite enjoyed it. The one thing is, everything in that movie was predictable, but it still worked.
Yeah.
That it was fun. The cast was really good. And it had like a really good energy about like the way it was shot and acted and everything. So it's definitely a treat and a recommend. I don't know, but hearing people talk about it online, they were like, "Oh," and then it turns into this thing, and my wife and I were just like, we kind of saw every twist coming. Like I even remember, because you even mentioned the thing about the wife character.
Yeah.
And I even remember, like, as soon as she let like the girl into the house, like my wife was like, "Oh, she's in on it." So I mean, it's predictable, but it was fun. So treat and a recommend.
All right, there you go.
And I also called, like you were talking about the Patrick Bateman similarities. I had also called that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely pretty present there. So, yeah, cool. I think it was kind of an interesting flick. So glad you also dug it.
Yeah.
All right.
I know Raven Shadow had a really hard time saying Bucky do such bad things.
No, I've totally watched fucking Pam and Tommy Lee.
Yeah. That too.
I'm fucking fascinated.
Fascinated by what?
Everything about that. It's filling in blanks. It was a roller coaster ride. I am thoroughly enjoying.
The Pam and Tommy show is, quite entertaining and interesting. I like most people, I didn't know a lot of the things that went on behind the scenes of that.
But it fills in the gaps of that.
Oh yeah.
Of like what we saw on like MTV and like
Mhm.
TV in those days and the
Right.
stuff, but like, yeah, it was just as fucking absurd in real life as according to the show as it was in the publications. And I think fucking Bucky fucking kills it as fucking Tommy Lee. Like he acts like that dude, bro, dude.
Yeah.
The woman playing Pam is.
Oh yeah, she's great too. Yeah.
She's fantastic.
Johnny, have you seen that?
I saw the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to check out more. I thought it was generally pretty interesting. And I was like wondering, I'm like, did it really happen like this? Like, do you guys know how accurate it is? Because it was like, it seemed like it was sensationalized. I'm not saying it was, but it seemed like it was.
Seems fair because I remember listening to like, once again, this was the era pre-internet. It was hard copy.
Yeah.
You had the tabloid TV shows. Howard would talk about things, but I remember hearing like, oh yeah, there was like some carpenters that worked on the house that took the tape, and like Tommy Lee comes off as this huge D-bag, especially in the first episode.
Yeah.
Is he probably a D-bag in real life at that time? Probably. Do I love Shout at the Devil? Yes.
Yeah.
But was Tommy Lee probably a dick? Yeah. And did probably guys who worked on his house want to fuck with him? Maybe. I wasn't there, but like it fills in for those of us, all three of us on the show who were there at that time frame.
Right. And supposedly the basis of the show is based on some article where somebody actually tracked down the contractor and interviewed him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So again, I'm sure you are right that it is sensationalized. but I think at the basis, that is probably somewhat what happened, where one or more people that got ripped off figured they could steal back something that was worth money and accidentally ended up with that as well.
And
Yeah, no shit.
some internet stuff. And this is a thing. This was and like anybody who's under 35, like this was huge in those days.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, and the Pamela Anderson character, goddamn.
I'm actually looking at an article on Newsweek right now.
Yeah.
And it says, so the good news is Tommy Lee has given his blessing for the Hulu miniseries. And it says he was speaking to Entertainment Tonight in September 2021, 2 months after filming wrapped. And Tommy Lee described the series as a really beautiful story and revealed he had been in contact with Sebastian Stan. He says, I know Sebastian, he's playing me from what he's told me. Really beautiful story. I think a lot of people would think it's one thing, but it's really about privacy and how things got crazy then. There's different laws now. And he added, the story's actually cool. What actually happened wasn't, but Stan tells me it's pretty wild. I feel like it was forever ago, but it's a cool story and people need to know. It's cool. I'm stoked.
So again, it can't be, I'm guessing it's probably not too far off from what actually happened.
Yeah, I'm sure, as they do with things like this, I'm sure it's sensationalized a little, but the details are probably, probably fairly accurate.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great line in one episode as it progresses where Pam is like, this is my fucking career. Like, you're going to come off. You're a rock star. Like, you're the shit. Like, you're not going to be bad in this. I'm bad in this because I'm a fucking woman.
Yeah.
Like, get it. Fucking Tommy Lee, drummer from Motley Crue.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And oh, shit. Fuck.
Yeah, I'll check out some more of it. I thought the first episode was interesting to see some of the actors in the role. I mean, obviously Sebastian Stan as Tommy Lee is like, pretty crazy, and I think he looks
good.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's funny. I just went to look up. I was like half paying attention. I went to look it up on IMDb, and I typed in Tam and Pammy. I was like, okay, that's not going to produce any results.
I think that's a different show.
Yeah.
Dude, Wolfie and Raven Shadow. Type that.
Tammy and Pammy in the morning.
Tammy and Pammy in the morning.
I think that's the sequel to Tammy and the T-Rex.
Yeah, exactly. But I did want to say, like, Seth Rogen was almost unrecognizable. I mean, obviously I recognize him, but he plays such a different character than you're used to. Mm-hmm. And same thing with Nick Offerman. Like,
yeah.
I fucking love Nick Offerman, but like seeing him play that like sleazy fucking porn director in that.
Yeah. Now I forget, with the first episode, did you get to Andrew Dice Clay?
No, I didn't. Oh man.
In episode 4, I think.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
All right. I'll look forward to that then. Marion says, I loved the 90s nostalgia and Pam and Tommy.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, but like, it's totally not Pam's fault. Like,
no, not at all.
Tommy was a douche. And I love Motley Crue.
Well, just all fans of Motley Crue just have to accept that, Tommy Lee was a douchebag and Vince Neil killed a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, to be fair, that's fucking great. Like, Mick fucking is just old and broken.
Yeah.
And he was old and broken when fucking Shout of the Devil came out. And Nicky wrote every fucking thing. And maybe tried to kill himself a couple of times. But surely, if Mick and Nicky are the fucking most stick guys in the band, that's a fucking problem.
Marion says Nick Offerman in Deadwood, though. Full frontal. Is that true?
Really? I can get that far. I've only watched the first First season. Good for him. Nick Offerman is the Aries of television.
Yeah, he is the Aries of television.
Of the world.
Yeah, of the world. Yeah, there you go. All right, so we should wrap this up. It's not too, a little after 11. I think we kind of reeled things in a little bit, but still had some good discussions.
Yeah.
So let's see. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. No voicemails came in late. All right. So.
And I got one quick thing I want to interject.
Yeah, please.
So today would have been Rudy Ray Moore's birthday.
Ah.
So I just want to plug Mark Murphy's book, Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself, that he just had published recently. This is like a huge hardcover book all about the life and career of Rudy Ray Moore. So.
Yeah, that's cool. I remember MZ. What's the name of the book again, Josh?
It's called Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself. Get a better shot of it here.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember MZ brought that up before.
Yeah.
Because I think he did get a copy of it because he knows the writer.
He knows Mark too. Yeah.
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 He had mentioned that I think he did what was it? He did a convention that he was at, and that's where he met him and found out all about it. But
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there you go. Mark Jason Murray, thank you for letting me be myself. A book about Rudy Ray Moore.
Yep.
Very cool.
I'll eventually get around to reading all of it.
Yeah, it looks like a tome. It's a pretty intense thing.
Mm.
Let's see. Marion says absolutely true and disturbing about Nick Offerman's Full Frontal. And Courtney says nice. I'm not sure if that's about the Full Frontal or the book.
We'll just assume it's about both.
Yeah, exactly.
But like show the D. Like listen, if you're gonna if and that's the thing, like from what I'm understanding is like the actress that plays Pamela Anderson has some enhancements. So when she's fully nude, it's not really her. She's wearing some accessories.
Okay. I thought you meant she had breast implants. What you're saying is for the film she had like prosthetics, yeah, to make it look like
blast shields.
Blast shields.
Prosthetics like Mark Wahlberg and Boogie Nights.
Yeah, show the D, dude. Like, I mean, like, I don't want to see the D, but for folks who want to see the D, show the D.
Do you want to see the double D?
I've seen a lot of double Ds. So, like, don't. If you're gonna show the T, show the D.
Equal opportunity offender, right, Raven Shadow?
Yes.
Right. You're showing D and V, show the D.
Why all of a sudden are you watching your language? A little concerned.
I'm saying, like, show it, man. That's outrageous. Do that. That's fun. Show a D.
Show a D. Show a D.
Show a D.
Jesus Christ.
Like that.
It's all right, Raven Shadow. We're not disagreeing with you on this.
Thank you.
We're in favor of equal opportunity nudity as well.
Yeah. Once again.
All right, so let's wrap this shit up, right, Raven Shadow? Speaking of D.
Yeah, D for done.
Let's see. I was just trying to look up. I forgot what it was. I was trying to look up your Discogs. What's it under, Josh?
J Gravel. Gravel.
Okay. Speaking of gravel, I got the gravel voice there. There it is.
Yeah. Drinking water. Yeah, just GGRAVEL. All one word.
All right, there it is. Okay, so as always, we appreciate Josh coming on and hanging out with us and lending his film knowledge and helping us talk about this film. And I'm glad you did, because me and Raven Shadow, for the bulk of the film discussion, probably wouldn't have been very interesting. So we appreciate you coming on, Josh, and hanging out with us. It's always fun to do. And yeah, definitely next time, if you can make it in studio, hang out with Raven Shadow, get some pizza. I'm sure
Definitely.
I'm sure he'd enjoy that.
Yeah.
Can we make a
date? A play date. Okay, that's worse than date, but okay.
Next time I come on Raven Shadow, we'll just plan it earlier than day of.
Yeah.
Yes.
and then I'll be able to come into the studio.
In fact, if you want, Josh, pick any Thursday in April. It's yours.
Yeah. Maybe
All
we can eat outside. We can eat outside. That'd be fun.
I'll check my calendar and I'll message you.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Text, bro.
Cool. So if you guys want to check out, Josh has right now over 2,500 albums for sale. It looks like 2,577. That's crazy, Josh. You have a huge collection on Discogs. So people want, they can go to discogs.com/seller/jgravel. Or you can just go to discogs.com and just search for J Gravel. And
yeah, I'm sure even if you just Google Discogs and J Gravel, it'll probably bring you right up.
Yeah, exactly. That probably.
Yeah.
Yep. So give that a look, and if you guys are into vinyl, it's just vinyl on there, right, Josh?
There's some CDs and tapes, but it's like 90% vinyl.
Okay, so if you guys are into collecting vinyl or just looking for something for your player, looking for something for a collection, Josh has over 2,500 items currently listed. So, and just quick glance for me, it looks like all the prices are very reasonable. So, you could get some good finds on there. Although I do see the Great White Once Bitten LP is $30.
Yeah, all the 80s hair metal stuff.
Yeah.
It's in demand now.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So good condition albums, they can fetch quite a bit.
Interesting. Yeah, I see White Lion is going for a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting because it's I wouldn't say it's the same, but it's like the horror VHS. If you look at any other VHS, it's complete shit. Nobody wants it, but horror VHS people really want. And well, I would say vinyl is still more valuable than VHS, way more valuable, in fact. But yeah, it seems like a lot of the 80s and early 90s hair metal is fetching a little bit of more of a steep price. Yeah, Rat, Invasion of Your Privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty cool.
A lot of the like I was saying, the 80s hair metal, 90s alternative, and any punk or hardcore from the late 70s through early 90s usually gets a decent price.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I do know Bobby Walnuts out there is a fan of the vinyl. If anyone else is a fan of the vinyl and wants to check out Josh's store, it's pretty extensive. So you can give that a look. Discogs.com and just look for J Gravel and you'll find his over 2,500 listings there. So
I hope there's something for everyone.
Yeah, there probably is. I could probably even find something for Raven Shadow. Raven Shadow, you like Chub Rock, right?
Chub Rock's on the scene. Yeah.
Oh, you're a big fan of ELO, Stevie Wonder, Bing Crosby.
Yeah, Electro Light Orchestra. Blind Guys. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
Bob
and Doug McKenzie, Great White North album.
There you go.
That's a good one.
Like Queensryche Empire. That was a good record.
I've got some Queensryche. It's not up yet, but it will be in the next week or so.
Wow. This is the one that I've seen going for the most amount of money right now on your store. I've only clicked through 3 pages, but you got Tupac, All Eyes on Me.
Oh, yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Raven Shadow, you better get on that.
See, I was never a big Tupac fan. Double D,
Never mind.
Tupac,
Never mind. Let's stop talking about it. Never mind. You're not a fan, so that's all right.
The story. I know him from fucking Juice in the acting. Before the movie Jackson.
Oh, I wonder if he made your list of musicians.
Ooh.
People are going to have to listen and check out.
It's fun. I guess I probably should have thought harder.
Yep. It's 1 through 12, Tom Waits.
Although I think this one is more expensive. Sid the Kid featuring Daryl.
Mm.
It's in very good condition. It's fetching a hefty price. You guys better jump on that. Huh?
Who the fuck is Sid the Kid?
Well, better
you like
yet,
to
who's
know?
Daryl?
Yeah, who's Daryl featuring Daryl?
My other brother Daryl.
All right, well, give Josh's store a look. There's lots of good stuff on there. Oh, look at that, Sammy Hagar 3-log box, $5. Apparently, that missed the cutoff for hair metal.
Yep, people don't want the Sammy Hagar as much.
Oh, wow.
That, and you know what? There's so many Sammy Hagar records out there.
That's true. And the amount of good ones is pretty low.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's another thing you got to take into consideration is I think he had a slightly older audience that was still buying records when those came out. But like Great White and stuff like that, those were like high school kids buying tapes and maybe CDs.
I do see. I actually looked. I looked for the highest price ones. I won't name prices in case people want to go look, but Morrissey, You Are the Quarry is fetching a hefty price there.
Yeah.
And De La Soul, 3 Feet and Rising. Wow, 3 Foot High and Rising. I mean,
well, and that's a test pressing.
Oh, look at that.
So there are probably only a few dozen of those.
Wow, that's awesome. So yeah, you guys are missing out if you're not checking out Josh's Discogs. So give it a look and check out and see if you can find something. Anything else you want to talk about, Josh, or plug?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you for plugging the records.
Of course, man. Go send people that way, and Josh needs some gas money to get up the studio next time.
Yeah.
So help a brother out. Help him get to the studio, and he can chip in for the pizza, right, Raven Shadow?
Yeah. we're fucking roboting.
I know we are roboting, so it's time to go.
It's all right. We stretched the show to 2.5 hours. So.
That's right. So, Josh, since you're going to be on the show more frequently, we'll give you a proper goodbye. So if you want, say goodbye to the folks.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. I'll talk to you all soon.
All right, Raven Shadow.
All right. Live fast, love hard, survive with the mask on. Yo, that's fucking crystal clear. What's up, son? Josh, thank you, brother. And Johnny, you know I love you.
Don't you say other stuff?
Didn't I say everything?
Oh, okay. You ended with that. I got thrown off. Yeah, you did.
I said live fast, love hard, survive with the mask on. We stopped roboting. And I said big up to Josh for his vinyl.
Yes, I remember everything you said now.
Do you need me to fill in for Monster Zero and say his part?
No, I don't think anyone should ever say that.
I mean, I tried filling in. I already plugged a Rudy Ray Moore book.
That's true. You did. All right. Well, that is going to do it. So once again, thanks to Josh for coming on and hanging out with us, make us sound smarter. And next week, as I previously mentioned, we'll be talking about the film Take Back the Night. And we shall see who we'll have for guest. Will be a big mystery, Raven Shadow. So we'll find out. And next week, come back and hang out with us and join us. If you guys want to send a voice message, podcast@trickortreatradio.com. And that is going to do it. So thanks to everyone who tuned in, listened to the live show, everyone who sent in a voice message, and also to all you folks who will listen to the podcast, especially our Patreon supporters. We love you all. Thank you. See you next week. Bye.